Welcome to learn more on built-in analytics in SAP Business by Design. In this video, we would like to illustrate new options to calculate with formulas and work with calculated key figures. We would like to show how easy it is to calculate with dates. And furthermore, we would like to show you how to achieve more dynamic formulas by adding parameters and achieve manual inputs and simulations. I'm Stefan Kraus and I'm Product Manager for Analytics in SAP Business by Design. Let's start with a small business example. I'm logged on as sales manager and I would like to analyze my inactive customers. I ask my key user to prepare some calculations and a small analysis for me. He told me that he has created a KPI, but if I want to play around, the bookmark is even more lightweight and simpler. I can find bookmarks under Home in the report list, where I find all the reports available to me. But there's a new analytical list in the Insights Work Center, which gives me access to all analytical assets I can imagine, KPIs, reports, bookmarks. So let's go for this option. I search for inactive here, and I find all the KPI, bookmark, and report information he has prepared for me. Let's choose the bookmark. And this is a very simple entry point to a report with a predefined selection and view. I just have one link to click on and I see what I want. Here are my top customers, and I ask him to calculate the days since this customer placed the last order, based on the requested date in the sales order. Based on this, I would like to define a threshold where I classify my customers in active and inactive. So we see a customer more than 150 days who hasn't placed an order is considered as inactive. And then, of course, I want to calculate the sales for those inactive customers and compare it with the overall sales based on the rolling year numbers. I can, of course, play with these numbers based on the new parameter functionality in 1902. For example, I could now change this threshold. Let's assume my inactive customers are considered as inactive when the threshold is more than 100 days. So then still we have inactive sales of 1.7%. And just for the sake of playing around, it would be more dramatic if we would consider a customer as inactive with more than 10 days. But let's go for 100 days, and I will ask my key user to refine this KPI he has created. This is, by the way, shown in the last video of this series. But now I hand over to my key user, and he show you how he has created these calculations, the date calculation as well as the calculation with parameters. I'm now logged on as the key user, working in the Business Analytics Work Center in the Design Reports view, where I've copied a standard sales order report to a custom report. My sales manager has asked me to create a new analysis of interactive customers, and for this purpose, I would like to show you how the related key figures are created. So I go to the next tab in the report wizard where I can select or create new key figures, and we are now going to create some calculated key figures together, which calculate the days since last order was placed. So for this, we get into the formula editor and we have to do a date calculation. How would you do is you first choose the operation, and now you position the cursor and choose first, for example, today, which is a new feature we've gained in 1902. And now we can search the requested date, which is provided by the sales order item cube. And I used the adapt feature we gained in the last release to convert the requested date to a key figure. And as soon as I did this, it appears under basic key figures. So now I'm finished. I have now calculated the delta between today and the requested date maximum, which is aggregated by customer. So it's the last order date of this customer. So we finish this, and we want to create a second key figure, which now identifies the inactive customers. So let's create another key figure and let's call it inactive customer and inactive customer. And when is a customer inactive? It is inactive when the number of days since the last sales order, which we have just created, since last order, that's the number we created, is greater or equal then a threshold. We can hard code it 100, but now we come to another new feature which is helpful. We can make this dynamic, so we can interactively simulate in the selection pane this threshold. So that means we now have the ability to create, for example, a variable which is called days until my customer gets inactive. Sorry for the typo. Until inactive, and the default shall be 100. So with this, we now have added a new parameter, and as soon as I add this parameter appears here, and I can add it to my formula. So now we calculate the inactive customers whenever the days until it's inactive are exceeded, so more than 100 days. So there's one more thing which I can do. I can now go to the next tab and count the numbers of inactive customers. So I have to do this on account level. So I can do an exception aggregation, exceptionally aggregate on account level, which is in this case my customer. And whenever this is done, we know the number of inactive customers we have. Let's finish these key figures, add those key figures to our report. Let's quickly do this. And then I can create a view for my sales manager, which is what you have seen in the business demo before. Let's quickly summarize what we have seen so far in the demos. We've seen how easy it is to calculate with dates using the example of a delta between two dates. Remember, you can add each date as a key figure to your data source using the adapt data source feature, which we have added in earlier releases. And as soon as you add a date to a key figure, it will then appear under basic key figures where you can add it to your formula. You further have learned that we have added formula parameters. This allows you to make your formula more dynamic. Typical business examples are that you want to enter dynamic thresholds for your high value, low value customers, for inactive customers, high value projects. This allows you to make a parameter a variable, which you can enter on the selection pane. But you can also make it dynamic in a sense that you create a fixed value and link it to a relative selects. All these options give you more flexibility to use our formula calculations, and we hope that these examples are helpful for you. And yeah, thanks for your attention. Have a great day and stay tuned for more.